Hi, it's Andrew here from Smart Marketing Success, and in this video I want to go through what successful professional service providing businesses go through and have enabled inside their business that allows them to run at 7 or 8 figures per year in profits compared to small business owners who are struggling just to get some leads online in the digital world and live in a world where simply they just don't know what they don't know. So in this video, I want to go beneath the radar and show you what it looks like inside those successful businesses and why we can guarantee in helping professional service providers get clients every month guaranteed, or you don't pay and we'll even give you $5,000 cash for wasting your time. So what I'd like to do now is just take you through the methodology and the frameworks as to why it works inside our company, which is a consulting company, and also other professional service providers we've worked with, why it works, and kind of give you an understanding of why and how, so you can finally get away from just collecting bad leads to start collecting clients. So to walk you through the elements, let me just show you where to start. Of course, the first thing you want to do is generate leads. Now the problem with that is that most small business owners, what they do is they go into the ad platform of Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It doesn't really matter. They're just all traffic platforms. They go into the ad platform and then they just make it up as they go and haven't really thought about how to attract their ideal client, from the targeting, not getting that correct inside the platform, and also the copyright and the messaging, because they don't have an offer that attracts their ideal client. It's really important to have a lead generation magnet that actually speaks to the dream outcome, to your ideal client. The biggest mistake we see is professional service provider, they sell the service, not the outcome. Aren't using hooks and really compelling offers to draw their ideal client in to take the next step to start a conversation with their clients. Ads are not supposed to give you a qualified person. It's not where it happens, and it's the biggest misconception mistake small businesses make. Ads start a conversation, and the best way to start a conversation is to solve a pain point or an unfulfilled desire they're having towards their dream outcome. Right? There's a lot of depth we can go into, but the idea is sell the vacation, not the plane flight. Most small business providers sell the plane flight, their service, to get people to the outcome, which is why it's not working. Once you solve this first part, which is really where most small businesses focus on, which really is only about 10% of the entire customer journey. Once you get a really good working ad in place that targets the right people that you're after, your ideal client, you have the right offer in place to actually draw them in, you start to open up the doors to a torrential flow of leads and inquiries coming in consistently every week. We completely guarantee that inside our company, in working with professional service providers, that we will turn on that tap for you. Now this brings up another problem. The problem is when you start a conversation, it's a little bit like dating. The mistake that most people make is that they go from a lead straight down to an appointment in their ad. And that's like using the dating world. A guy walking into a bar, good guy, good values, walks up into a bar and essentially says, "Hey, I'm looking at getting married. Are you open to having that conversation?" And it's weird, right? It's too fast, too quick. Like there's no no or trust factor yet. And the biggest problem for small businesses is when they engage with strangers, right? Because referrals are great, but referrals in the dating world is like an arranged marriage. There is a transference of trust and understanding of values, and you just got to not stuff it up, right? Which is why referrals are so great. Now, when you go to the open market, there is no trust. The market's very skeptical and very non-trusting. You need to shift that around to create trust, which is that step here, right? You've got to start moving it down like dating. Start to think about people you're working with. It's human behavior. You have to start thinking in the real world, let's say not digital. You meet someone, you build a relationship, which is why referrals are so great. But when it comes to digital, people kind of lose their mind a little bit and they go straight from running a random ad, which is not even set up correctly, to just want to go straight to a booked appointment. And it's very difficult to do. It does work, but it's super expensive in terms of cost per booked call. Cost per booked call is what we have over here, right? You want to keep that down. And the way to do that is you want to have like a process in place that mimics that of a referral. And so what mimics that is that you need to do the job of your referral source, right? They built the relationship. You now need to do that in a way that leans on technology. In other words, systems. You need to start thinking about the fact that business, a true business, is systems and team. That's how you reduce your hours and you increase your revenue. Because you don't want to scale to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 a month and scale your hours with it. It's impossible. It's like driving a car in first gear, hitting the rev limiter. You want to have systems in place so you can change gears to third and fourth gear and cruise at 110 kilometers an hour, right, without the effort. That's what systems and team do. So most small businesses only focus on the first step, which is up here, right? And what you need to do is start look at beneath the surface, what's happening inside your business to build trust, qualify the people to make sure they've got capacity, they're right for you to work with before they end up on your calendar as a booked appointment. And the way you do that is by leaning on technology to make sure you have a process in place where you can engage with your lead in a communication process through different modalities of email, texting, voice message drops to start creating the dating effect of the know, like, and trust factor. And at the same time, also you want to be able to have qualifiers in there, in other words, filtering the leads in an automatic fashion, so by the time they get on your calendar, they are qualified, ready to go, and they mimic the behavior and the trust of a referral. It's a much easier and a better conversation to have if you have 10, 20, 30 appointments booked in a week with people where you can have a meaningful conversation with. So your system is supposed to engage, it's supposed to build trust, and it's supposed to also qualify all your inquiries, so that way it's doing the heavy lifting for you. A marketing engine, and an engine that runs very proficiently and efficiently in fourth gear, not in first gear, revving the hell out of it. Now the other important thing is not to use random communication, meaning a lot of people go online and they get something like ClickFunnels or ActiveCampaign and they get a swipe file and their communication ends up being spammy. Right? A lead comes in, hey, do you want to book? Hey, do you want to book? It's like the guy pestering the girl and going, hey, do you want to go out? Do you want to do this? And just moving in random ways, and you either end up in the friend zone or you get ignored altogether, right? You get ghosted. Happens all the time. So you need to make sure that everything congruently fits together, right? Your brand, your voice, from the lead generation, from running an ad with a compelling offer, the communication that happens afterwards should be very much value and educational based. Because if you can add value to the prospect, as a byproduct, it increases your status frame, which increases trust and decreases skepticism. So really important that you sequentially work out the conversation you want to have through all the emails and texts that are going out almost every day or every second day. That's very much in favor of your lead, your potential client, to help them move closer to either to their unfulfilled desire or away from a pain point that your service helps them do. This is how you create yourself as being the expert, rather than you telling them you're the expert, but you're showing them, and the byproduct, it elevates you automatically. Once you do that, you start ending up with appointments on your calendar with people where there's already some trust built in, they are qualified, they've got capacity, and they're ready to do something. And you need to make sure you've got protocols and mechanisms in place, that there's a very, very nice flow happening in terms of the inquiry coming in, them being engaged with, like, good dates, and then the marriage proposal, or let's say in this case the appointment, is that they end up on your calendar with qualification, right, with already some trust, with already an understanding about you and your method, so at least you can have a meaningful conversation on both sides to make sure there is a fit that you can help them achieve whatever it is they're wanting to achieve as part of your service. When you have that in place, everything becomes very effortless. You start to have a machine that's turned on where you can turn it up or down based on your ad spend. So, when people say you can either spend $20 a day on ads, well, that's like going down the highway 20 kilometers an hour. You'll get to your destination, but it'll take a while compared to spending $100 on ads per day, which obviously is like 100 kilometers an hour. Now, in terms of that equation of what or how much you should spend, let me be very clear. It all depends on you and your business. Cost per lead is not your most important metric. It's a vanity metric. I would rather spend $50 per lead and get qualified booked appointments that commercially make sense and are profitable to get a client than spending $1 on a lead that never goes anywhere. It looks good, but what's the point? So rather than focusing on cost per lead, ultimately through tracking, you want to focus on cost per acquisition. How much does it cost you to acquire a new customer? And do you make 5 times or 10 times the amount back to make sure this is super profitable and you can scale it to 100 or 200,000 a month and beyond? This leads us to another point, and that's conversion. That is from having the appointment to efficiently engaging the client to being a client. And here's the thing, most people wing this part. They use charm and product knowledge and think that makes it effective in being good at sales. The problem is, going back to the early example of referrals, which is like an arranged marriage, it's like the guy saying, I'm really good with the ladies, but I'm in an arranged marriage. Right? It's different if you take that same person and put him out into the world and talking to strangers. It's very hard because skeptical, not trusting to overcome that. So the question then is, if you have all this set up, do you have a sales process in place that builds in efficiency and effective communication so you can have a really fun and non-salesy conversation, but at the same time have efficiency built in that would either double or triple the enrollments that you get from the same conversations you're having. So this is the other very much overlooked piece of the puzzle, that a lot of people get the right ad flow going, they have the right engagement processes, but in the end, when it flips from marketing over to sales, they have no sales process. They're like the person that turns up to a job interview with zero preparation, or they're giving a speech at a wedding or to an event without any preparation. They just get on stage and just wing it. And that can either work out well or not. Sometimes it works out well, other times not so well. And that's why people lose efficiency by not having a framework in place that makes it fun, repeatable, and effortless to be able to enroll as many people as humanly possible. The other thing it does also, it creates SOPs around a seat for you. So because the ultimate thing for you would be eventually, if you pull all this information out of your head and have it systemized, right, in terms of sales, you can then hire a consultant in to do that work for you as well. Now you start to enter the land of a true business, which is a commercial enterprise that can work without you. You've got your marketing in place, you've got the sales in place, and then you just got to take care of the fulfillment. And once you plug that part with somebody, then you have a true business where you're now stepping into leadership and management. Now there's one more equation to this that you also want to look at, which is super important by having super efficiency built in. Now that you have this structure in place, what you want to be doing is contracting the sales cycle. So you want to make sure from a lead coming in that you get to those as quickly as possible to be able to build all of this, to get them obviously into an appointment and convert it into a client. And you also want to build an efficiency that you double the amount of appointments you get without spending an extra single cent on advertising extra. Now the way you contract this is by you want to start thinking about hiring a virtual assistant. That can be as low as $6 an hour. You can do that from overseas or locally in the country. It's going to just be a little bit more. But you want an appointment setter that is trained, that really takes care of everything in terms of calling on the leads, building a relationship, qualifying them, getting them booked into your calendar, and confirming the appointments to make sure they show up. And they can run activation to all your old leads or clients as well, and touching base. So for only like 10 or 20 hours a week, you're only spending $60 or $120 a week for a person that will do hundreds and hundreds of dials to ensure you don't have to. This builds the ultimate now of starting teams. So you've got systems and team, which is what a true business consists of. This is why it's so important for you to start thinking about the elements that are needed inside your business behind the scenes internally, not just from an ad, to make sure this is completely scalable and leveraged and effortless in its workings. You now start to have a true marketing and sales machine, because any true business, whether it's a $100,000 a year business or $1 billion business, that has three macro buckets: marketing, sales, operations. Now operations, most of you have that really dialed in, because operations is fulfillment of the service. It's the marketing, the sales piece, and marketing really is external marketing, which is the ads, and internal marketing is what we're really speaking about today, which is making sure you've got a good follow-up and engagement process to actually nurture these leads and build trust and a relationship with them, so you don't have a leaky bucket. So it's not just about getting clients today, but you're building pipeline deals where very soon, after a few months, you start to have these months where you've got really high conversions because of leads that come in today, they're converted, leads that came in 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, and it just snowballs like that in a massive way. So it's kind of like, referrals a little bit like the helicopter, it just takes off, trust and all that. This strategy here is more like a big plane taking off. There's a runway. And this is why you have all these things to ensure the runway is working extremely efficiently and well to get this whole business taking off in a massive way. So here's Smart Marketing Success. We guarantee that we can help you install all of these parts, including setter, everything inside your business for you. So you never need us or an outside help ever again. You've got your own business. It's more saleable. It can run more efficiently and it can scale. And we guarantee that we can help you set that up so you're not just collecting leads, but you're collecting clients, or you don't pay a single cent, and for wasting your time, we give you $5,000 cash. And the reason we do this crazy offer is because it's a well-worn path for us. We haven't failed at this. We know it works. We do it inside our own business and other businesses we work with. Like Cameron, who's a financial planner, we helped him from Brisbane generate an extra $1.1 million inside 10 months. Like Andrew and John, who are mortgage brokers in Melbourne, who target property investors, who add an extra $20,000 of revenue per week inside their business. Like Deborah, who's a parenting coach, who went from $30,000 in debt with other things that she's tried to now bringing in 25 appointments per week into her business and having it super easily scaled. So if this is of interest to you and you think this is maybe possibly what you're looking for, I'll invite you to jump on a demo with us by simply clicking the link below. What we did was schedule a demo on Zoom, because what we just shared here changes based on where you're at, where you're wanting to go. There are different variations that we can kind of share with you that would be completely applicable to your business and what that would look like. We'll walk you through it. It's just a fun call. Just pull your business apart, look at your vision, where you want to go, what would be needed based on the target you want to hit, based on the gap of where you're at. And then at the end of that, you can let us know whether it's maybe what you're looking for before we can talk about possible next steps. So if this is curious to you and interesting to you, based with our solid guarantee, which comes in a legal document, it'll make your lawyer smile and tap dance, because it's been through many hands of those. We've got a pretty ironclad in there. It really puts skin in the game for us in the way we do things. And if you jump on a demo with us, we can really kind of walk you through what that looks like for your consideration. The best thing to do, even if we can't help you, we'll still give you a game plan of what to do for you to be ready for it. So it really doesn't hurt to jump on there. And I've got no incentive. We have no incentive to hard sell you on this, because if we don't feel like we can help you and it's going to work, well, there's no point moving forward, because we've got a guarantee in place. So there's skin in the game for us. There's a lot of incentive, which is why we've got a certain methodology on how we make that happen. We can share those details with you on a demo. So enjoy your day. Hope you enjoyed this, and you got a bit of an insight on how multiple 7 or 8 figure companies in the consulting space run, not just from an ad perspective, but also behind the scenes. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.